All right, I'll turn this off. Bye. Tony, is that too loud, that air conditioner in the background? Okay. I need to see me. Sounds good. Thank you for doing this, Tony. Happy to be doing this with you. Sounds good. Cool place.
All right, welcome to Des Moines Buccaneer Hockey. Defend the Ship, Tony Scott here, getting ready to interview the new head coach for the Des Moines Buccaneers, Damon, here soon, but we're going to get through some other things going on here with the Buccaneers as the season is just around the corner. It's just the middle of July here, but it's coming up to us quickly. We're just going to go through some house notes here real quick, or I am. The Buccaneers getting ready to do a trip down to Knoxville Speedway here soon. Everybody's invited for that. You can go on the Buccaneers webpage and purchase tickets to go down to Knoxville. If you've never been down to Knoxville, it is really cool. That's my second job during the summertime. I go down there and run the video scoreboard. So if you guys have never been down to Knoxville Raceway to watch some sprint car racing, jump on the bus, go down, hang out with the Buccaneers. I know they're in the bigs down there for that weekend, and there'll be lots going on as that's the 360 Nationals final day, and 360s is just a motor type of the sprint cars down there, and the next weekend is the 410s, which is another type of motor for the sprint cars, the big cars. August 20th, season ticket holders only, barbecue set for 5:30, and it is going to be out to the Raccoon River Park. So come out and join them. I think it's 2500 Grand Avenue, West Des Moines, 5:30 to 7 p.m. So season ticket holders only, and you still got time to get season tickets if you want to jump on board and have the same seat for every game this year. It should be exciting. And then the next night, September 5th, hockey night at the Iowa Cubs. So you haven't been down the Iowa Cubs this year. I've been down there a few times, watched a few ball games, and it's a lot of fun. 7:08 is the time the game starts down at Principal Park. So come down and request your tickets online there. Go on the Buccaneers webpage, and you can get all this information on there. That's where we're getting it here. So, yeah, jump on there, and we'll get you set up. And then here we'll bring Derek on here as soon as I can. There you are, Derek. Welcome to the Buccaneers Defend the Ship.
Thanks for having me on, Tony. It's great to be here. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us. This will be fun. I know there's a lot of fans out there that want to talk to you and wanted some questions asked about the upcoming season and so forth. And you've had quite the background. You head coach for the Heartlanders over there, and I came over to watch you a few games last year, and you asked me when I told you that if you won or lost. I don't remember whether you won or lost. I had a good time. The first night I went over there to show their off-ice guys. The second time I went over there, and my wife and I stayed in the hotel, which is very, very nice to have a hotel attached to the ice arena, and was able to go up there during intermission and get a drink and go back down and watch the game. So that's fun. So Beautiful arena. If you guys have not been over to see the Iowa Heartlanders and the Buccaneers aren't playing, go over there and watch it. They put on a good show. It was a fun time there. So, Eric, I have Eric wrote down here. Derek, welcome to the Buccaneers. What do you think so far of jumping in here right away? You had camp right away, a couple of camps, and how'd that go for you? How things going for you in Des Moines?
Yeah, it's great. Currently, I'm in Canada. Every July, my wife and kids and I come back to Southampton, Ontario. It's right on Lake Huron. It's a beautiful community. It's a tennis community, so there's lots of tennis courts. My kids play tennis and they go to the beach, and that allows me to get some serious work done while they're at their tennis lessons and focus on the upcoming season. So right now, we're currently up north of the border. We'll be back in Iowa towards the end of the month. But yeah, since I took the job, it's been full out, straight on, full gas, as they say. Since I took over in May, we had a great main camp. I thought, to get the people that we had there for players, it was great. It was great for my staff and I to be able to watch these guys go out there and play. And we had one guy, Joey Argentina, that forced his way onto the 30-man roster. He was just an invite, and so that's very rare when that happens. And for us, that proves to us that our main camp was a success. We had 122 kids, which was great. It was a great turnout. And then our futures camp 2 weeks later was another great turnout, and we had some loyal fans there. It was great to see those people as well turn out all weekend long, and just gives you a lot of excitement heading into the new season.
Well, that's cool. And I used to run the high school team here and do tryouts every August, or we used to do it in May too, and the two teams trying out. And after about the first hour, everybody looked the same out there. Does that happen to you too, as you watching tryouts? After you were there all day, all week long. Does everything look the same after a while to you, or is there certain things you're looking for?
Yeah, there's certain things that we're looking for. First of all, what we asked of the players when they showed up to main camp is we wanted to see them compete. We wanted to see who really wanted to be a Buccaneer. And the purpose of our main camp, we have a lot of kids there, so it's hard to decipher, who's going to stand out. But when you run it for as long as we do, that those kids usually rise to the top. And, that's the purpose of it, because, a guy can come up or a player can come out and he can, light the world on fire for one game. But, to do that, over an extended period of time, that really shows whether the player's capable of doing that for us this season. And again, it was great. We have, some returners that are coming back that, we're really excited about. The previous staff did a great job of bringing in some really good players.
That's good to know, and I know the Buccaneer fans are excited for things to get going. Let's talk about your career. I printed out all the teams you played for, and my gosh, you played a lot of hockey, and you got a lot of experience. 4 years at University of Maine, and then from there you Florida Everblades. Did you play back then, 06, 07, 08, Florida Everblades? Who was your coach? Was that Bob Ferguson at one time, or was he down there already?
Coach Ferguson was already done. It was Jerry Fleming. But yeah, to leave Maine, we had a really good team all 4 years at Maine. It was a successful run up at Maine. We were number one in the country all 4 years. We just couldn't win the national championship. We lost my sophomore year to Denver, and then we lost to Wisconsin my senior year in the semifinals, and they ended up winning the national title. So 2 of the 4 years we lost, and very close. We were close to winning a national title. And then, I started my pro career in 2006, 2007. I was fortunate to be in Florida with they're a great team in the ECHL. They just won 3 in a row coming into this year. So it's a great franchise. I was very fortunate to play for the Everblades. And then my second year pro, I was between the American League, up and down between the Albany River Rats and the Florida Everblades. And you finish your second year. I was 27 at the time. You come to a little bit of a crossroads, whether are you going to continue to chase the dream of being in the NHL, or do you want to, maybe go to Europe and see if you can maximize how long you can play? And I chose to go that route. I was able to attend training camp with the New York Islanders and got exhibition games with them, and I was content to go over and just see how long I could play. And one thing led to another, and 12 years later, I was 39 years old, and COVID hit, and it was time to retire.
And so is that when your coaching career started did you go from playing pro hockey right to the Heartlanders, assistant coach for the Heartlanders and so forth, or did you coach previous to that?
Yeah, no, so when I retired, I had the opportunity to be the general manager of the German team that I was playing for when I retired. I decided to turn that down. My wife and I decided that we'd been over in Europe for 12 years. It was time to come home. And also I wanted to, get back into hockey and the North American scene. It was a tough decision, but, a decision that we made. And we came home to a different landscape, obviously, with COVID and how it's changed everything. But I got offered a coaching opportunity to go to Salmon Arm, British Columbia in the BCHL. And I was up there for 7 months the following year. We didn't play. The season didn't actually play. We played a lot of, tournaments on the interior. So a lot of teams in your division. But, I went up there and ultimately I decided that, I wasn't going to move my family up there for 1 year of junior. My family stayed in Florida where we spent our off season when I was playing.
Not a bad place hang out is down in Florida. We go down every September, go down to Daytona Beach, and I just love going down there. I don't know if I could handle the heat. I don't like the humidity here right now in Des Moines. But it's a great
tornado
place
season, Tony.
Yeah, tornado season for sure, and hopefully we don't get hit by one of those.
Yeah.
Where did you start playing hockey, and maybe give us a little background and when you started, where you came from, how you got into actually playing hockey?
Yeah. I actually got started skating at 21 months old. My dad would take me up to the University of Maine because I'm from Bangor, Maine, and we live 10 minutes away from the University of Maine. So it's one of those feel-good stories when I played my first game at the university. To grow up in that area and play there, it didn't happen much. That doesn't happen. It's not like the Massachusetts kids that play at the Boston schools in Hockey East. For me to play at the University of Maine, it was quite the thrill for me and for my family. But I got started at a real early age, 21 months. I was skating. At 3 years, I was playing, and I was always playing up. But I stayed in school. I played in travel teams in the state of Maine all the way up through high school. I played at a high school in the state of Maine that, people that played with me are coaching college hockey, like Joe Dume at Quinnipiac. He's an associate coach there. A friend of mine, Greg Moore, who played with me at Maine, he's coaching the under 18 team that we'll see this year. So those were the players that I had to play with when I was in high school. After high school, I decided to go play junior hockey, which back then I could have gone to the USHL or the BCHL, or there was a junior league out east called the Eastern Junior Hockey League, which I decided to stay closer to home, and I played in Exeter, New Hampshire for 2 years before I went to Maine.
Wow, what a bound, and 21 months old starting to play. I have a grandson that just turned 2, and he puts the skates on. Hasn't skated yet, but he is doing some stick handling. But
well, Tony, we got to get him out there then.
Yeah, we do. We got to get him out there. I know his dad's excited to do it, and he's got to quit hitting his sister in the face with the hockey stick because he gets a 5-minute major about every night, I think. Also, he's got to keep the stick down. Well, we'll keep it on here. The season's just about ready to go here. I'm going to switch screens here and put
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I can't believe that we're starting to talk about the players coming in, Tony. It's an exciting time. Every year around this time, you start to get the itch to be back on the ice. Especially this past week, I was with my associate coach Kevin Schmidt in Amherst, New York, watching our 2008s play in the national camp. So that was exciting to see. We were well represented there. We had Blake Zielinski, we had Riley Zupfer, Henry Schmiel, Oscar Drabinski, Nathan Howd, and Nate Garski. So it was great to see our players and some of our draft picks that we've had and watch them compete against the best players in the United States for their age group, the 08s. That was awesome. So it was good to see those guys. Yeah, I mean, and when I was talking to those players and some of our other guys that we have coming in, it's right around the corner. August 27th is our first on ice practice, and that'll be a great, exciting day. With the new staff, the players. It's just an exciting time to be a Buccaneer. And I've referenced it before talking to people that when I was growing up and playing junior hockey, especially when I was playing in the Eastern Junior League, when you heard of the Des Moines Buccaneers, they were the New York Yankees of junior hockey. And that's why it's so exciting for me to be able to work for the Des Moines Buccaneers. The decade of dominance that they'd had in the 90s, the Madhouse on, is it Madison, or is that where the former
Madhouse on Hickman?
Hickman, yeah.
Yep,
Hickman, there you go.
Yep.
Madhouse on Madison's the Chicago Stadium.
Okay, all right.
But no, I mean, I'm just excited, especially the Recplex. Like, we have a beautiful facility, and a year from now, in November of 2026, we'll have our new arena at the Recplex, which, again, once that's built, that'll put us at the top for the USHL for having the best facilities. So it's such a great time to be a Buccaneer, and I know the players can feel that energy, and I hope the fans can too.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of people bitter about leaving the old Buccaneer Arena, but it was time. I've said it over and over. It's like driving your 1971 Nova when it's all rusted out and you just can't put any more money into it. And once the new arena gets built out there, we're going to be creating new memories and winning teams, and I just can't wait. It's exciting to go out there. It's a little bit further to drive than the Bucks Arena. For me, I'm six blocks from the old Bucks Arena, so it's a little bit further to drive for me. But go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, Tony, it's hard. There's a lot of college hockey teams that are getting new facilities built, and to keep up with the Joneses, as they say. The kids are, especially with the landscape the way it is nowadays with the CHL, kids that are able to play in college, or our players in the USHL are able to go up to the CHL. It's a totally different landscape, and so you have to recruit and you have to find ways to keep really good talent. And it's what can you offer these kids, whether it be the amenities that we will have in our new facility, the resources, the staff that you have. I think the staff is very important, obviously. But the staff around it, like our student advisor, our billet coordinator, everybody that helps us get to the level that championship level that we want to be at. And it's tough, obviously. The Alfond Arena where the University of Maine plays, they've been around for ages, and it needed to be updated, it needed to be renovated, and they're spending $50 million to redo the University of Maine's rink, and so that's what you have to do to survive in this day and age.
Yeah, that's definitely true about all what you just said there. I was going to say before all that, when I was over there at the Heartlanders and talking to the employees over there, they said they built that rink first, and there's just bean fields and cornfields around that. And now you go over there, there's restaurants and bars, and like I say, the hotels right there. And I envision that for out in West Des Moines at the Recplex. Eventually, you're going to see hotels, you're going to see probably restaurants and bars out there, and it's really going to be a nice area to go watch games and hockey and and bring in some youth tournaments, and they already do a good job with youth tournaments over there now. So the future is bright for the Buccaneers and hockey in Des Moines. So.
Well, I will like to add to that, Tony, because you are 100% spot on. That area is going to thrive and it's going to explode here in the next couple of years, and it's just going to be a really great place to be. And I mean, I don't want to speak, for somebody else, but I do know that the USHL would like to bring the Fall Classic back to Des Moines.
Yeah.
It hasn't been set in stone yet, but once the new rink is built, that is what they envision, is to hopefully have that Fall Classic back in Des Moines, which, the old Buck Bowl.
Yep.
And I think, it was great. And, the scouts love that. They like to come out to Des Moines. They really like us. They love the area. And I think we have one of the best places to play in the USHL.
That'll be awesome. When all that happens, I can't wait. I remember the Buck Bowl being in Des Moines, and we always had a good time in that. So, we're going to get your coaching staff here after this question here, but as we were talking about the season getting ready to start, normal week of practice going to look for you, or are you got that all planned out, or you made it that far yet in your plans, or how's your practice going to different than maybe everybody else's? I don't know, but just kind of tell us what a week of practice might look like for a Buccaneer player.
Yeah, no, it's a good question to ask, Tony. So, first of all, just coming from the pro game, it's going to vary slightly. We play 72 games at the pro level, so we're playing 3, sometimes 4 games a week at the pro level, and you're on the road for an extended period of time, or you're at home, you have a long home stand. So it's going to be different. In the USHL, it's more built like a college season where you play 2 games a week, and you play on the weekends, which, I think for all these kids that are looking to go to play college hockey, the USHL is the best place for you to do that. And a lot of these kids are leaving to go to the CHL. Not a lot, but there are some. But you're going up there to play in the CHL. You're going to play 3 games a week, kind of like a pro schedule. And for us, our league is a development league, and we're getting these kids ready to go into college 1, 2, 3 years from now. And so when they go in, they're successful. The kids that are still in high school are going to school in the morning, and they have mandatory study hall, and they're with our student advisor, Patrick, who's an outstanding person, and he's a retired school teacher, and we're lucky to have him on board. But and then we go in, so those kids that are in high school have that mandatory study hall, and then once they're finished in the morning, usually about by 9:30, they'll come to the rink, and then we'll get ready for our day, which we're a development league, so we have a lot of development ice in the course of the week. We'll have development ice from 10 to 10:45, which, that's working on little areas of, whether it's forward or defensive specific drills, or if we're going to, work on some power play or penalty kill stuff. So it gives us a lot of flexibility, and also allows our goalie coach to work with the goalies at that time, so that, at 11 o'clock, that's when we hit the ice for practice, where the full practice starts. And we usually will practice from 11 to 12:30. We won't go that long every day, but we'll have that ice block for them then. And then after practice is when they'll go right in the rink there. We have a facility that we just signed on with DMU, Des Moines University. It's a fitness and rehab facility where our guys will be able to train and get their strength training, which is very important for these guys. So that's what a normal week will consist of, Monday through Thursday. And again, there's weeks where we will have games during the week, but it doesn't happen much. And then that gets the guys ready to go for Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedule briefly when it came out. We don't have too many weeknight games, at least at the Recplex this year. You might have some on the road, but I was kind of looking at home games. But, it looked like your schedule looked really a lot better than what it did last year. I remember last year, I think the Bucks played at home, and then maybe went to Cedar Rapids, and then went to Sioux City on Sunday, and then back to Sioux Falls on Tuesday. I don't see that in the schedule this year. I think your schedule is a little more travel-friendly this year for everybody. I'm sure everybody appreciates that. Let's talk about your coaching staff. You brought some people over from the Iowa Heartlanders with you, and then just go ahead and let us know about
Yeah.
your guys who are going to help you out all season long.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I think we have the best staff in the league. Very, very fortunate to have the staff that we have. Kevin Schmidt is coming over with me from the Heartlanders. Kevin played 15 years professionally, played 14 in Europe, in Germany, and in Austria. He's an unbelievable person. I've known Kevin and his family since 2013. We would train together in the off season down in Florida, and that's where we met each other. We would train together and skate together, and then just kind of the stars aligned when he was ready to retire. And I was looking for an assistant coach last year, or the previous year with the Heartlanders. We brought him on board, and he was outstanding last year. I just couldn't say enough good things about Kevin. The type of person that he is, and what he is as a coach. He's a great developer. To play 15 years professionally, Tony, you have to know how to play the game, and you have to be a good person. And Kevin certainly is that. So again, very fortunate to have him with us and working with our D this year, which I think I'm excited to see the progress that these guys will make. And then I have Tommy Cogan. Tommy Cogan comes over from the U.S. national team. He's been with them for the last 2 seasons. So he's seen what it's like to be with USA Hockey internationally and in the USHL. Tommy's an incredible man. He spent 21 years as a Marine in our military. So first of all, he is a outstanding individual. Very, very fortunate to have him on our staff, and he's got a very good hockey acumen, especially being around the USA Hockey for the last 2 years. So with those 2 guys as our coaching staff, I feel very good about. I'm in the process of hiring a goalie coach as we speak. Very close. I can't comment on that right now, but I feel very good about the person that we're probably going to bring on. So I'm excited about him. And then I have also brought over from the Heartlanders Evan Watts. He's our head equipment manager. He's a man that was in the American Hockey League for 3 seasons in Milwaukee, and then he came to me last year with the Heartlanders. And if you've been in this business, you understand that having the support staff, the head equipment manager or your athletic trainer are probably the 2 most important jobs in our business, just because they are the ones that see the players more than anybody else, more than the coaching staff. They're around the players all the time. And to have a guy like Evan, who's so professional, who will be in the NHL one day, I have no doubt about it. To have him on our staff, very, very fortunate. And so I'm very happy that we were able to bring him over from the Heartlanders, and I'm already excited to see what he's already been doing to our locker room, and just the way he's organizing everything is top shelf.
Well, you talk about Evan. I met him briefly Sunday when I came back up to the last day of the main camp, and I think I had something on with Knoxville Raceway on there, and his dad builds go-karts, and he knew all about Knoxville Raceway, sprint cars. We started talking racing, and then you guys jump back on the ice. He says, I got to go. So I can't wait to continue that conversation with Evan here. So we hit it off right off the bat with racing. So that's exciting. I'm excited for the coaching staff and so forth. What can you bring over to the Buccaneers from the East Coast Hockey League practice, or how's that different? When I went over and watched Heartlanders, and I asked Michael, the owner of the Buccaneers and the Heartlanders, I said, what do you see the difference? He goes, Heartlanders are they're men over, they're grown men over here, and the Buccaneer players, USHL, they're still kids. And you can I noticed that on the ice over there. I mean, they're grown men over there, and they hit harder, they skate a little faster, they pass the puck a little harder. And what do you know? What do you see, or what can you bring from coaching the Heartlanders over the Bucks, and vice versa? What can't you bring, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, to be the coach of the Heartlanders, the head coach of the Heartlanders for the 3 of the 4 years I was there, I was very proud of that, and I was very honored. To coach in pro hockey it's the best. Way I like to say it is, for these kids, or these young men, those guys are playing to put food on the table for their families, and it's a different animal when you start doing that. When you're not, the young men that we deal with here with the Bucks, they're still growing up and finding their way, and they're very influential at their age. 16 to 19 or 16 to 20. They haven't been through the grind of college hockey, and then okay, now you're on your own. It's sink or swim, so to speak. Like if you're not cut out, you're gone the next day. And in pro hockey, it's a tough business. So it's our roster changed, whether it's call ups to the American Hockey League or we're just bringing in new guys all the time. So it's a different landscape. It's a different animal. But I'm excited to be in the junior hockey world because of what I just said about the fact that you get to really influence these young men and help them find their way. I've been where they are. I know what they're going through, and I know what they're going to go through in college, and there's a lot going on in their world right now, and if I can help them in a positive way and influence them in a positive way, then I've done my job and win. Because we're searching that Clark Cup. We want to get that Clark Cup. That's our goal. So I mean, the style of play that we will play with this year. First of all, last year the way we played is much different than how we're going to play as the Bucks, because to be a coach, you got to understand that you got to find a style that fits your team. You can't try to jam a square peg into a round hole. So you got to be able to adapt. And so, just seeing our team play in main camp, the staff and I, we recognize that we need to be a transition team. We have a lot of offense, a lot of guys that can get up and go on offense, guys that can make plays off the rush, play fast, go north quickly. But then we can't let our defensive side of the game sacrifice. And that comes into our, standard of play, culture, the type of people that you have in the locker room. And that, but just going into style of play a little bit, I could go off on this for hours with you, Tony. And I'm sure you and I will talk about it a lot this year, but I'm excited. I think, the players that we have coming back, these guys are exciting, and they're going to be fun to work with.
That's exciting, and we do have a question here talking about how to play. Somebody jumped in here on YouTube here. That last year, previous season, we've had a lot of dump and chase over the recent years. Been a little soft in corners. Will we focus? And I can't focus physicality and the dirty areas more. So you have.
So first of all, there's one way to play. You have to play hard, and you have to compete. And I mentioned it earlier in this interview, and I also mentioned at the introduction meeting at main camp. We want to see guys that will compete and that will do whatever it takes to be a Buccaneer, because that logo on the front has some clout to it. And we're going to play a hard game. Are we going to play a dump and chase game? The way I like to say this is, you have to be able to manage pucks. So at the right time, you have to be able to deposit a puck where you can hopefully get in either on the forecheck or be first man on the puck. But if the ability is to play off the rush, we want to make plays. It's hard when teams are attacking with four. It's hard. It's hard to defend that, and so consequently, we have to be good at defending off the rush, and that's all areas that we work on. We will work on every day. So, no, I don't think we're going to be a dump and chase team. We're going to be a team that we're going to have to teach these guys how to manage pucks, but also how to play fast, and that's something that I'm excited to do. And I will also add to that, Tony, is at the pro level, those guys, not only are they playing for food on the table, but they also have been through it, and they have an ability to know how to win. And that's something that we have to teach these kids or young men at the junior level, is we have to teach them how to win. Winning's hard.
It is.
And
hard.
that isn't just showing up and on game days and hoping that you're going to win. It comes through the practice that you do every day and how committed you are every day. And that's when it leads into the game.
That is very interesting how you said it's hard to win. As I told you, I'm a huge sprint car fan, dirt track fan. Every time I hear one of those drivers get interviewed, they might race 90 times a year, only win one time out of the whole 90 races, and they jump right back in it because they want to win all the time. And it's hard. Winning is hard. So I want to jump on the next question here. You had some trades happen this week and earlier last week, and kind of talk about we got a kid from Chicago and Tri-City, and kind of talk about how that happens in the summertime. I don't remember the last time I seen it for the Buccaneers happen, a trade in the summertime, and it was kind of exciting for me to see that we're actually making stuff happen during the summertime when everybody thinks we're not doing anything. So kind of talk about Owen Tylick and is it Reese Wallen, Tri-City?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Very, very excited. I know that in the coming days, we'll be announcing that we've hired an assistant general manager and a director of scouting. He's somebody that, first of all, to be a head coach and general manager, it's a very hard job to do. And so, for the more successful franchises or organizations in our league, they have somebody who's handling the general manager duties, and then they have the coach who's handling that the hockey side of it. So for me, it was one of my first orders of business after I hired my two assistants, was to try to find the right person to help guide us in that area. So we'll be announcing that very soon. But I'm very happy with who we have brought on. He's somebody that has played college hockey and he's been in around the game his whole life, and he's been a scout as well. So he's going to be really good for our organization in his new expanded role. The two trades that happened, one area that we noticed from main camp is that, number one, we're not very big on the left side, and our depth in the middle ice, center ice position was not where we want it to be. And so we've gone out and we've addressed two of those needs. And, we think with Reese Wallen, he's a guy that we really dug into the analytics, as well as watching him on video and finding out about him as a character, his character. His analytics are very, very high in what he does in driving play. We think he'll have the ability to be an impactful forward for us. And so we're excited about him. He's an 05. He's committed to UMass. He dealt with a little bit of an injury last year, so that kept him out of games. But we think, he's really excited to be a Buccaneer. And we're excited about him. Owen Tylick is a person that, he's committed to Notre Dame. The last 2 years, from what he's told us, it's been a tough sledding in Chicago. So for him to get a fresh start with us, he's really excited for. He plays the middle. He can also play the left. We envisioned him playing in the middle. He's a distributor. He's a guy who can really make plays, kind of fits into what we're trying to do, Tony, off the rush a little bit. We think putting him in between two scores, might give, those two scores, the puck in really good position. So we're excited about that. He's a really, really good person. Actually, there was a team in the OHL, Erie, that was really trying hard to sign him. And when I met with him last week in Buffalo, he's all in on Des Moines. And so for us, we won that recruiting battle. And, that gives us, a lot of hope and, positivity, that, hey, this kid decides, that he wants to be in Des Moines and he wants to be a Buccaneer with us. And so that's exciting for us.
All right, so that's awesome. That's exciting for us as fans, and I'm excited for I'm not excited for summer to be over, but I'm excited for the season to get started.
Me too, Tony.
We're going to go into some fun questions here, and and so forth. And you kind of answered already. You started skating at 22 months. But was there any other sports you were interested in, or you always been a hockey player?
I was a golfer. Well, I am a golfer. But I grew up playing soccer just because it would get me in shape for the hockey season. And then I was a baseball player. I love baseball. Played it all the way up until my sophomore year of high school. And then I had to make a decision whether I was going to be full-time into hockey or full-time into baseball. And obviously my passion and love is hockey. But yeah, I love the game of baseball, and but now I've always played golf since I was 7 years old, and I love doing that on the side.
So you've played a lot of hockey. Is there anything that sticks out in your mind that was really exciting for you? Was it a time goal? Was it a bus? I don't know what it would be for you, but is there something really still sticks out in your mind from your playing career that is a highlight?
Oh gosh.
Sorry to put you on the spot. I see you thinking there.
No, my high school that I played with Joe Dume and Greg Moore, those two players that went on to have great careers, and they're still having great careers in hockey. We were on a line together my senior year in high school, and we were the first team to go undefeated in the state of Maine high school hockey in over 40 years. And I happened to score the game-winning goal in overtime to win the state championship. So that was a proud moment. I guess I mean, there was a lot of moments, Tony. First game at Maine, first game playing pro, exhibition game in the NHL. They were all up there. But playing my 500th pro game, that was something that, my parents and my wife and kids were at. It just, to be lucky enough to play 500 games, and I think I ended up with 850
Jeez.
games played. But to be able to play 500 games, I mean, it's something that it's something that you do as a kid. Are you fortunate to play one game pro? To play as long as I did, I'm so fortunate, so blessed.
Oh, you played that many games. Were you pretty healthy? Did you have any injuries, or if you were healthy, how did you stay healthy through all those games?
So the two major injuries that I had, two MCL sprains, were both my rookie year and my second year pro, and they came over here in pro over here. And I broke my wrist once in Denmark when I played in Denmark, that I was out for 10 weeks. But other than that, I was fortunate, and I think that goes along with the style of play in Europe and the fact that you play 2 games a week, sometimes 3, but mostly 2 games a week, Friday, Sunday, or when I was in Finland, you play Thursday, Saturday, and the travel's not too hard. Whereas over here, it's a grind. Even in the American League, you're up, you're on the bus. It's tough. That's why they call it the minor pro. It's not the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the never hungry league. It's the almost hungry league, or the
Yes.
4-letter league, which is the ever changing hockey league, the ECHL.
Yeah.
It's a grind. So I was fortunate to not get too many injuries while I was over there in Europe.
All right, I got a question from my wife. I said, "What would you ask the coach here?" So if you look around my house, both my kids played hockey all the way up through high school. I have an old Des Moines Mighty Bucks jersey hanging on the other wall here. I got all kinds of hockey sticks. So is there anything you've kept? My wife wanted to know if there's any old-time hockey stuff that you've kept around your house from your earlier playing days. You probably got a lot of jerseys. I couldn't imagine.
I have one of every. I've got one jersey from every year I played, and
wow.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool actually. The last couple of years over in Coralville with the Junior Heartlanders, there's a parent-kid skate at the end of the season, and my wife, she's grown up in a hockey family as well. She goes on the ice and she puts on one of my old jerseys every year.
I
So
like it.
it's pretty cool. But I like what I see out of your room there. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Well, thank you. It's fun. If I turn the camera the other way, I might just do it. No, I won't. But I have a huge screen down there, and I have dirt track racing on 6 different screens, so I keep watching. It's
you.
dirt track racing is my thing in the summertime. So, talking about summertime, let's talk about grilling. I don't know if you're a big griller or not, if you go out and grill, but if you do, what's your summertime food you throw on the grill, or what's your fun time grilling meal, I guess?
I love to grill. I love to throw a nice ribeye on the grill, Tony. My son and I love eating a steak. But we'll grill everything. We'll grill chicken. We'll throw a salmon on the grill too. I love salmon. It's a delicate fish on the grill, though. You got to be careful cooking that on the grill. So it's something you have to monitor. You can't just throw it on there and
Yep.
come back 15 minutes later, you know. So it
Yep.
requires a lot of attention. Just like these players, right, Tony? Like these kids are going to require a lot of attention this year.
Yes, they are.
And I'm excited for that.
Do a gas grill, charcoal grill, or a pellet smoker, or all three?
So, well, I used to be just a gas grill. Now, thanks to my neighbor in Coralville, he gave me 2 years ago his old charcoal grill, and it's a incredible Weber charcoal grill, and I love the charcoal taste in the food. So I've turned into a charcoal guy.
I might have ask you about your charcoal grill. I've been looking at those Weber charcoal grills. So, all right, we're going to get wrapping this up, and I appreciate you jumping on here tonight and doing this. It's been a lot of fun. But the very last question: you've played a lot of hockey, played a lot of hockey. Rule changes. What rule changes have you liked that they've made recently, or what rules would you like eliminate? Maybe eliminate icing. I don't know what it is, but I know years ago we used to have a 2-line pass rule. They did change icing, beat them to the dots, I think, and there's been some other rules. But somebody that played a lot, is there some rules you like and some that you don't like?
Well, I mean, I guess I've been fortunate to play in the old era, the clutching and grabbing, as they like to say that the old style was. I mean, if you could go back to the early 2000s is, well, I know when the new standard came in and after the '05 lockout, is when they really tried to bring out the skill in the game and put speed into the game. And, that's when I was going from college into pro. So I was fortunate to be a part of both eras. I'm so glad they made those changes to, the old game, because it was a hard game to play. Like, you would see guys going up ice. You'd have guys like, hooking and like almost slingshotting past you. And it was a man's game, and you had to fight through everything, and, penalties were rarely called. And so because of that, offense has gone up, which that's the type of player that I was. I was an offensive player. I like to produce, and I think that helped me in my pro career with the new standards. I think, Tony, when you referenced it about the icing, the hybrid icing, I think it was one of the best moves that we could have done. Just the injury risk that comes associated with that hybrid icing that we used to have with the normal icing. There were just too many gruesome injuries that came from that. And so I think we did really well with that. I do think, at the ECHL level, we do 3-on-3 for 7 minutes, and the NHL, they do 5. They've talked about doing the 7, but they don't. I know at our level we do 5 minutes as well.
Yep.
I think it's something that should be talked about more, just because the fans, they want to see the game finish, from us playing. And I'm obviously, I was a creative player and I love to do the shootout, but I think let's finish it the way it should be finished. So I think the 3-on-3 and adding the 2 extra minutes to overtime just creates so much excitement.
I do like that. I do like the 7 minutes, and hopefully the league's listening to you and they'll change that. I know the fans like the shootout too, but I like what you're saying. I'd rather see it get played on the ice, and my younger son's a goalie, so I never liked him to have to.
Let me tell you this, Tony. So in Switzerland, where I played for 3 years, they came up with a rule in the top two leagues in Switzerland that even in the playoffs, games had to be finished by 11 p.m. because that's when the trains would stop. And so you saw play. I had my season end in the playoffs my second year due to a shootout in playoffs.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean it was wild. And so for me, maybe that's why I have a little bit of a salty taste of the shootouts, even though I loved to do it when I was playing.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So, and I just give you a little tip here that a friend of mine that owns a farm down in southern Iowa, we camp and boat at. He just texted me. He's listening. He says he's got some ribeyes from freshly butchered calf down there. So he said he'll give me some ribeyes to bring to you. So you can put some farm fresh Iowa beef on that charcoal grill.
Well, I look forward to go down there and do some fishing with him and you.
Yeah, it's a beautiful lake down there. A lot of fishing down there. I'm not going to hold you up anymore. You're up there with your family in Canada, and I appreciate you jumping on here and look forward to working with you this season. And let's go and hopefully we have a great season. So
yes, and Tony, just to reiterate what you said about the preseason, August 27th is the first on ice practice. September 5th we go to Sioux City for a little jamboree. September 5th and 6th we play in Sioux City. September 11th, we're at home on a Thursday against Waterloo, and there's potential. We're trying to add in another game against potentially Cedar Rapids. So there's going to be a lot of preseason for us before we hit the road for Pittsburgh in the Fall Classic. But I look forward to seeing everybody in the Recplex on October 2nd against Chicago. Let's pack that place.
Yeah, let's pack that place. Yeah, get it rocking. We saw it rocking a few times last year. So I won't keep you any longer. Thank you for jumping on here and doing this. And we'll have to do this again during the season. So enjoy your time up in Canada. Hopefully the weather's good up there.
Weather's fantastic. Thank you, Tony.
All right. Thank you.